There are 1,440 minutes in a day, and most of us choose not to use them very wisely. Almost all college students procrastinate, and I'm no exception. You know what's funny? I got ready to record this speech today, the day it's due, and now I'm about to give you some tips and tools to help you become better at time management. As I was doing my research on this topic, I found a lot of lists. And I noticed that a lot of these lists had a few things in common. And those things that I found to be in common were limiting distractions, making a schedule and sticking to it, and prioritizing. Time management may be the single most important skill to succeeding in school or business or whatever other endeavor you choose to embark on. So I know you guys are going to be watching this speech on YouTube, which is a perfect segue into my first point. Limiting distractions. Distractions can come in a million different forms, but today I'm just going to choose to focus on a few of them. The first one I'm going to choose is the internet. Social media, browsing the internet, all the fun parts of it. And then the second one is going to be people, real people. Social media gives us the ability to communicate with an unprecedented amount of people, but it also kills productivity. It takes our attention away from the task at hand, and it breaks our concentration. Same with browsing the internet. We would only have access to a fraction of the amount of information we do today, but it also has many unproductive uses, like checking the scores to your favorite game, or reading the latest headlines, or doing a little online shopping, and before you know it, you've wasted an hour. So here's one option to fight these distractions, and it's called the Pomodoro technique. And it was created by Francesco Cirillo in the 1980s. And that is where you take your work and you break it up into chunks. So what you do is you work for a 25-minute chunk, and then you take a 5-minute break, which you can use to check your Twitter or your Instagram or buy a new sweatshirt off Amazon before you embark on another 25-minute session of work, followed by another 5-minute break. And then, once you've completed 4 of these sessions, you take a longer break, which you use to rest and recharge your batteries. This was proven in a research paper to be successful by Aya Rigla in 2011, where she showed that these small breaks actually enhance your productivity and your concentration once you come back to work. The next thing I'd like to talk about is then people. So when we're not browsing the internet, we have to talk to real life people. And they can often get us sidetracked, whether it's kids or family or friends or roommates or any other amount of people. You know, kids always need something or want us to play with them. And then friends and family or roommates always want us to go out or play video games or a number of other things. So when you run into this problem, consider going to a place where you're not as distracted, whether it's an office or a basement or a library or your favorite Starbucks. Going to these places can help you be less distracted because there's not as many people there. Also, try scheduling a specific amount of time, and then when you do that, communicate with those people those times. So tell them you're going to go to the basement to work on homework from 8 to 9. And then along with scheduling, that comes with our next point, is making a schedule and sticking to it. So if you tell your family that you're going to go in your basement and work on homework from 8 to 9, then make sure you go in the basement and work on homework from 8 to 9. And if you get done with the things that you are working on for that day early, work ahead. Because that is another tool that successful people use, is they work ahead and they don't get behind. Another tool that you can use as far as making a schedule is a calendar. Take time at the beginning of the semester to fill out your calendar with all your assignments and the important dates like quizzes and exams. Or fill out the calendar on your smartphone and use it to set reminders. And then with your calendar, make sure you're continually checking it and updating it. The last thing I'd like to talk about is prioritizing. So by prioritizing, I mean putting your schoolwork ahead of everything else, making it your number one priority. Now, I know this isn't always possible because we all have responsibilities. We all have families, jobs, hobbies, whatever it may be. But when possible, make school your number one priority. Along with that, another layer is when you are doing your schoolwork, prioritize by doing your most important tasks first and then the less important ones later. You can do this by making a list of your most important task to your least important task and then working downward until it's finished. Time management can also be called priority management. So I've talked about the 3 most important steps to becoming a better time manager. Limit distractions, making a schedule and sticking to it, and prioritizing. And since time management is one of the most important skills to becoming a successful student, businessman, singer, actor, whatever you want to be, I urge you to use these tips and these tools that I've given you and practice them to become a better time manager. And like I said earlier, I'm an expert at procrastinating. I had all week to do this speech and I'm just now recording it the day it's due. And so if I can use these tips and these tools that I've given you and use them for myself to become a better time manager and become a successful student, I know that you guys can too. Thank you.